Hi, I am Aditya Singal and I'll be presenting my project for the ELL100 course on the topic Universal Motors and its usage in the mixer grinder. A mixer grinder is a compact portable electrical machine that is used for mixing and grinding grains. Generally, the mixer grinder is designed to operate with a 230-volt AC supply. The parts of a mixer grinder include universal series motor, 3-position rotary switch, thermal overload relay, indicator light, and power switch. Here we can see the internal circuit diagram of a mixer grinder. The red wire represents the phase wire, green wire represents the ground wire, and black wire represents the neutral wire. So the phase wire goes through the relay and to the speed control switch, which modulates the three speeds of the mixer grinder. Universal series motors are those which are designed to operate with both AC and DC supply. Here the word series is used because its field windings are connected in series with the armature winding. There are two series windings. One of them is tapped in three positions and those tappings are connected to the speed control switch. So this arrangement is for speed control of the motor. So we can obtain three different speeds, low, medium and high, by rotating the switch. A thermal overload relay is used to protect the device from overload or overcurrent fault. If the motor draws overcurrent due to any internal fault or improper use, the overload relay will automatically disconnect the power supply to the motor. As the mixer grinder is a home appliance, so the thermal overload relay is very useful to prevent accidents such as burning of motor, fire, and melting due to overcurrent. The overload switch also helps to turn off the motor if you run it for a long time. The three-position rotary switch has a total of four terminals. The first one is the input terminal and the other three are the output terminals where the terminals of the motor are to be connected. Most of the mixer grinders have the function to switch on and off in their speed control switch, but some mixer grinders come up with a separate power switch to on and off. So here you can see that there is a total of 5 terminals of the motor. The red, yellow and blue are connected to the speed control switch. Rest two terminals are neutral and ground. The thermal overload relay is connected in series with the speed control switch. The indicator light is connected across the phase and the neutral. So when the power supply is available, it will glow. Introduction to universal motor. The universal motor is basically a series DC motor which is specially designed to operate on AC as well as on DC. A standard DC series motor has very poor characteristics when operated on AC, mainly due to the two reasons, which are high reactance of both the armature and field windings, which limits AC currents to a much lower value than the DC current for the same line voltage. If solid steel is used for the starter frame, AC flux will produce large eddy currents in the frame with consequent heating. The construction of a universal motor is very similar to the construction of a DC motor. It consists of a stator on which field poles are mounted. Field coils are wound on the field poles. However, the whole magnetic path stator field circuit, also called armature, is laminated. Lamination is necessary to minimize the eddy currents which induce while operating on AC. The rotary armature is of wound type, having straight or skewed slots and a commutator with brushes resting on it. Working principle of a universal motor. Whenever a current carrying coil is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force which produces a torque that can rotate the coil. The direction of force is determined by the Fleming's left hand rule. A motor is a machine that converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. The universal motor is a special type of motor that can work for both AC current and DC current. When the current passes through the field winding, it produces an electromagnetic field, hence acts as an electromagnet. The rotor starts rotating as it acts as a current carrying coil present in a magnetic field. The same current which passes through the field winding also flows through the rotor winding. That's why whenever AC current changes direction, the direction of current changes both in the field winding and the armature, and hence the movement of the rotor is not affected. The main component of a mixer grinder is universal motor, which consists of rotor, carbon brushes, commutator and field winding. There is a rotary switch to alter the speed, an indication lamp and a plug. Whenever we switch on the mixer grinder, universal motor comes into action as current passes through both the field winding and the armature winding, and as a result, A torque is applied on the rotor. The rotor starts rotating, which then rotates the blades of the grinder, and thus it helps mixing and grinding the ingredients.